Happy New Year!
How's it going, everybody?
I'm Tannis.
I'm Chris.
Together,
We are Tannis Fiber Arts. I thought we were going to say that part together.
I thought you were going to go like Tannis and I was going to go fiber. You're going to go arts. Anyway, Tannis Fiber Arts. I'm a knitwear designer. Chris is a yarn dyer. We work together to bring colorful knitting to you. So today I have a little bit of a plan of the things we're going to talk about.
Good, that's good, because I have no idea what we're talking about.
And I usually don't have a plan, but today I do. I'm going to talk about my new sweater.
Nice.
The City Limits Light Sweater, which I published this week, which is currently on sale. And I'm basically going to talk about this, and then I'm also going to talk about fades.
Okay.
That's basically the main topic of conversation today.
I'm well versed on both subjects.
Yes.
So I feel comfortable. I get pulled out of the studio to do these with like zero warning. So
I'm just like,
I'm
sit down,
always
let's do
game,
it.
but I have no idea what we're going to talk about.
And then I am going to talk, and then one more thing, I'll talk about my current work in progress because it's kind of fun.
Oh yeah, that is a good one.
Okay, so let's start with the City Limits Light.
Let's do it.
So here she is.
So nice.
So it's a fingering weight classic pullover.
Yeah, beautiful raglan sleeve, and it's a
Raglan.
nice wide collar too.
So here are the details to know.
Is that a modification? Oh,
No. This is the things to know, but what makes this sweater special, let me tell you. So it's a fingering weight version of my original City Limits sweater, which was a worsted weight design.
Mhm.
So this is just a lighter weight version of a heavier weight classic. It has a detail that runs down the side of the body. Let me get you. So it's available in 17 sizes. That's one of the things that makes it special. It's a baby to big pattern. So I have a sample knit for my daughter and then the sample that I'm wearing myself, and it's reversible. That's the thing. It's reversible. It has a
You had me at nice sweater, but it's reversible and it's got a detail down the side.
yeah, so this is the thing.
I'll take two.
You got two.
Nice.
1 and 2. So if you wear it on the reverse stockinette side out, it has these knit stitches that go down the raglan and then that go down the side of the body. And it's just a really fun detail. And then if you wear, there's a nail sticker. Funny.
Of course there is. That's Willow's, so yeah, there's going to be some cute little crafty things on it.
And if you wear it the opposite, if you wear it the way that I'm wearing it, stockinette side out, then the detail is a bit more subtle, but it remains there. You get sort of like a faux double seam down the side in there. It doesn't have this sort of 3D pop out, but it's there. I knit my version in a sweater kit from the Blue Brick. So it's the super fun gradient that as you knit it, your sweater is a gradient.
Yeah.
I mean, what more? It explains when you buy a kit from the Blue Brick, which she currently has a pre-order for sweater kits up. You buy the yarn, you buy it by size because the gradient is different depending on the size of the sweater that you're making. And then there's instructions.
It's above my pay grade.
It's not different. The dyeing is different. Yes,
Yeah.
we don't know how to do this.
No.
The dyeing is the yardage is different is what I'm trying to say. And so she has done all the calculations to figure out, for every size, how much of the top color you need, and then to have like the matching sleeves and body. It's a lot. It's very cool. It's not something that you can't just buy like gradient skeins
No.
and put it together yourself because the body requires so much more than the sleeve in terms of yardage, but you want the body and the sleeve to match and to go dark at the same time. Anyway, so she's done all the work for you. It's very, very cool. And then the kits come with instructions as well of like how to make it work. So the Blue Brick for my sample, and then for Willow's sample I used pure wash sock yarn in a Bluebird colorway for the body. We did, do you remember Bluebird? It was a sort of like a special one of a kind we did last year, and then we did a pre-order for it. It was a big color last spring for us.
I dyed some this week. It's come up quite a bit because it's just a nice one. It's one that I find like, every once in a while something will pop up and, gain some traction. And it's one of those colors that it's like just kind of in our wheelhouse.
Yeah, well, we've done a lot of blues, pinks, speckles, but
Yeah.
sometimes they just hit like Sometimes you just get just the right combo. I don't know.
Right.
Something about this one, it's sort of like, it's a very cool toned blue, like with the pinks and purples leaning into it.
Do you know what
like,
I think
really
it is?
quite like
It gets an even balance of like knitability, wearability, like we don't, you know, it pools in a way that's appealing to us, and so it's got.
In that it doesn't pool.
In that it doesn't pool. It's got skein appeal. So wound up, it's got like a lot of interest to it, but then it's also wearable and practical.
I mean, that's always
and
our
that's
goal.
like, I mean, Metropolis and colors like that.
Yeah.
Is they all kind of hit the same notes.
And then for Willow sweater, I did striped ribbing. I mean, I don't know, it's not that.
Is it natural and flamingo, or flamingo and
smoke.
Smoke.
Just a really
neutral kind of gray.
Yeah, and she's worn this a ton actually. There's a nail polish sticker on it, and it needs to be washed.
I think it's great though.
She loves it.
Yeah, they get put through the paces, and we really get to see
she wears the
strong points of the yarn.
She really likes lighter weight sweaters.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter doesn't love a chunky knit, which is crazy. Give me all the heavy sweaters. I find this, it's a little cool for this season.
She'll grow into it.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's it. And I love how the striped ribbing really, it really adds something, don't you think? And these were just leftover sock yarn minis from projects. So I don't think a mini skein wouldn't be enough to do this exact style of ribbing with this mini stripes on all the adult sizes, but for the kid sizes, mini skeins are fine for the contrast ribbing if that's something you're thinking about. Since we're talking about that, I'll mention that we've got a ton of beautiful speckled colorways in pure wash sock in the shop right now.
Yeah, we dyed them up this week.
Yeah, and including Bluebird. So I want to show my original. I have such a big pile. Okay.
That doesn't even register as a big pile to me. If anybody's ever seen her closet.
I just went around and grabbed all the stuff I want to talk about today. So here's the original City Limits. And on this one, see, every sweater is so customizable. I was gonna say instead of doing ribbing around the collar for this particular sample, I did an I-cord edging, but I don't even know that I would consider that a modification. I included it in the pattern.
Yeah.
So for one reason, it's not a modification. But like switching up the edgings that you work on a pattern is just you being a knitter. It's not really a mod, you know? I saw something the other day on Instagram where somebody posted a pattern of mine that they had knit, and she called it heavily modified because she had knit it to the length that she wanted. And I was kind of like, I'm happy that she I'm happy you love it. I'm happy you made it your own. That's what I want. But heavily modified. It's you shortened it. At any rate.
Comfort zones may differ in terms of deviating from patterns.
Well, that's true. That's true. I know. But patterns say knit to length.
Let me hold it so you're folding it too many times.
Okay.
This is knit in a gradient fade, or a fade that we made.
Yeah.
Right. This is the Orion fade, which is one I still really love.
Yeah. So this is 5 skeins of fingering weight yarn held together, not all at the same time. Two strands held together at once for a marled effect, and I held it with
changing to make the transitions better.
Yeah.
Right?
And so we're going to jump in right off the bat and talk about fading now, because I've gotten a few emails from people who want to knit the City Limits Light in a fade, because I had suggested that could be a fun thing to do. You could buy a gradient kit, or you can make your own gradient by doing a fade. And I brought some yarn. Because this is the thing and we've talked about this before, but I want to really hammer the point home that to me, in order to have a successful fade, you need to keep the colors very close, closer than you think.
Right.
So hold up this sweater. The reason that this sweater, I feel, this is a really successful fade. There's one spot right here where you can really tell more where you switched from this one to this one. There's a bit more of a jump between the colors, but it's really gradual, right? And that's what you want. If there's too much, I always feel like I have to give the disclaimer that that's what I like. If that's not what you want, of course you can have a stripy fade.
Because there's five in this, right? There's five colors in this, and it kind of reads as 2 or 3.
I mean, basically, light to dark. So I really like to go light to dark in a fade, or pale to saturated, rather than through multiple different colors. I feel like you can go pink to purple. You can go blue to green. You can maybe go blue to yellow if you've got several different bluey, greeny yellows in between, but like you really want to keep it close. And so, for example, here's one. I actually think that maybe this jump is a bit, I think that this would be fine.
It ties in.
There's quite a bit of gold in with this gray skein called Leo. And then this skein, gray, ties in with the gray here. The gold ties in with this. And the speckles really, to me, for a fade, speckles are essential as well. Because if these were just three solid shades, it's stripes. Yeah. It's beautiful stripes and a graduated color palette, but it's not faded. So that was one sort of example, because I had an email from somebody who had 3 beautiful skeins of yarn that coordinated together beautifully. And she asked me if I thought it would make a good fade. And sadly, the answer was no, because there was too big of a jump between each color. I was like, it'll make a great striped sweater, but it won't make a fade. And so here is just another example. The pink to this pastel color that has pink and blue and green and yellow and a ton of speckles. This one has some goldy, yellowy bits in it as well that really would tie it into there. And then this one is the jump that you would go from there. So there's some 3 skein. And then I brought the 4th, then from the blue, you could do another shade of blue. This is the type of thing. Or, let me see if any of these other colors.
You can do it.
No, so like, I wouldn't do that. This is this will be pretty. It'll blend-ish, but it'll be a big jump.
Right.
If there was like a more coral color between these two, that could work. But
I think the bluebirdy one could fit in with those.
This one?
No, this one, the third one here.
Going where?
I don't know. I'm not the expert.
What do you mean? So this one could go with this one for sure. Like this would be a pretty.
Dodged a bullet there.
That would be a pretty just blue fade, and then if you had a darker one, but I just can't hammer home enough how the colors really need to have overlapping qualities, and they need to be closer than you think.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people might think that this, the pink bridges the gap between the something and this is going to be stripy.
For sure.
It's going to be a pretty marled yarn when you hold the blue with the pink. It'll be pretty, but it's going to be striped. So that's just some example. Now, and then I just brought a whole bunch of examples of faded things. So this is another City Limits that I knit for my daughter. I would say that this one.
But that is 5 distinct colors, right?
So that's what I was going to sort of
So you take back everything you just said.
Well, look, it's art. It's subjective, and you have to follow your heart too. But also, I will say, I just picked a whole bunch of colors out of a bin, leftover skeins when I was working on this one, and my daughter threw in a bunch. Like she threw in these ones down here, which I wasn't intending to use. So if it doesn't work, it's her fault.
But it does. No. It really does.
Well, the thing is, I was knitting I'm knitting for, at the time, she was probably 3. Anyways, I'm knitting for a child. She wanted it colorful. There's exceptions to every rule.
It's joyous.
It's joyous, but also, it's pretty. But so these fades, when you're working with 2 strands of yarn together at a time, the difference too is that you drop one and then pick up the next. You're working it marled. So you're working 2 strands of this and then 1 strand of this with 1 strand of this. And then 2 of this, and then 1 and 1. So you gradually switch, whereas when you're working with fingering weight yarn, so were you to do this sweater in a fade and you were just doing 1 strand of yarn at a time, then you've got to work stripes to integrate one color in with the next.
Yep.
So you do 1 section that's just the first color, 1 section that is the 2 colors striped, and then the next section is just the second color. And I'm working on a blog post that'll be up when this goes live, that I will link in the description box down below, that says sort of explains a bit more the fading with single color fading, because what you've got to do is knit stripes, and you can knit just single row stripes, or what I like to do is knit more gradual stripes. So when you integrate the second color, you just do 1 skinny stripe, 1 round, and then you do 3 rounds of your first color, and then 2 rounds of the second color, 2 rounds of the third. Like you do it, you don't just go blocks of stripes and then blocks of solids, you integrate it. And it sounds complicated, but it's really not. And I'm going to write it out in the blog post, and it'll be very helpful. I hope. But now that we're on that, this little vest, I never published the pattern, but I'm adding it to my list of things to do, because this is like the most simple, standard, perfect little kid vest.
That got years of wear.
And I
can distinctly remember our kids.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of the vest for children.
Yeah.
Because like their arms are free, their bodies are warm, they don't get as dirty. Like
it's a quick way to class up a little dirt bag.
Yes.
Just throw it on over his
And you
dirty
don't have to
t-shirt.
worry about the cuffs, like the length of sleeves, which is always something with sweaters. You make them long and then you have to fold them up because your kids grow so fast. But this one is 3 colors. Tartan, this middle color is a color that Rowan dyed. Remember?
Cheetah
Racer.
Cheetah Racer.
And then this is Leo. And so it's actually, I can tell just in this section, but here the color, the fade is fantastic.
Man, there's so much going on.
But here I can tell that I did what I just told you was the easiest way. I just did single row stripes. So this I held just one color, just tartan. This is knit and worsted weight. So I was just using 1 strand of each. 1 strand here, then this whole section I just striped 1 for 1. The tartan with Cheetah Racer. This is just Cheetah Racer. And then this is Cheetah Racer and Leo striped, and then this is just Leo.
Do you know what's a real testimony to your color selection? Is it's great from a distance, but the closer you get, the better. Like every stitch is its own little thing, right?
And so they were speckled skeins. Actually,
Lightly.
the tartan is not speckled, but it's variegated. There's a lot of overlapping tones, a lot of action. That's a fun little vest.
You're going to get a lot of comments about publishing it now.
I hope so. I will. No, I will, because I would wear a vest.
Tan's got like 6 patterns in the works between now and spring.
I am optimistic that I'm gonna get those all. I have a lot like in various stages of progress.
Yeah.
But it's gonna happen. So let's just show a few more fades, shall we? Hooah. Well, actually, this.
You're not short on fades.
No. Well, do you know what though? I was looking through my Ravelry projects. I have almost 600 projects logged onto Ravelry from when I started in like 2008, like logging my projects. I'm saying almost 600. I just know it's over 500, but I don't remember. It could be 520. I'm being dramatic by saying
we'll give
almost
you 6.
At any rate, and I don't have that many fades. I knit a lot. I have hundreds of striped projects.
Yeah.
But I don't knit that many fades, actually. But, so here's the bad boy. Find your fade. Truth, I never wear this because it's for an elephant.
Sail for a small boat.
Big. People have asked me, why is mine so big? I don't know. I don't know. I did what I was told. At any rate, but I just kind of wanted to highlight too, it's so big. It used a lot of different colors. But it's basically a lot of blues. Just to say it doesn't go through that many dramatic color changes was my point.
Pink on the end is very cool.
The pink is a cool it's a funky pattern. This is a fun one.
Is that one of ours? The pink at the end? It doesn't look like it.
No, that's hedgehog fibers.
Nice.
Let's see, chat. Another, and this one, again, is a very subtle marl.
I might have to steal that one. My new thing instead of knitting is stealing the kids' hats. This is Micah's favorite hat.
Yeah. So this very subtle marl holding 2 strands together, really just all shades of speckled rainbow beigey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Fantastic.
Good. Here's a very pretty little subtle fade as well. These socks I knit using some of the yarn from our Advent this year. Very fun. Everything to here is the main color, the full skein that I included. And then here are actually 3 other blues that are worked in, is that 3 or 4? 3. 3 others that I did stripes. I striped them in and to create this lovely fade. But again, subtle fade.
Yeah.
Subtle fades are kind of my thing. This one's less subtle, but this is another really fun fade that I just had to show. But this one's done through marled knitting as well. I only, out of all of my samples, two of them, yeah, I'm really counting. 2 of them were done with a single, like the socks and then that vest was just a single one where I had to stripe them in. The other ones are marled, and I think marls are obviously my preferred fading method since I've done way more like that. So this one is my Metropolis sweater, and it is knit with 3 strands of fingering weight held together. It's like a luscious, chunky gauge, and that's really fun.
You know, as an artist who loves makeup, I'm talking about you, not me so much. Yeah, the marled gives you the blending effect, right? So it's kind of like in your wheelhouse.
Oh yeah.
I know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, love it. And then that's it for all of my faded examples, okay? But I wanted to show this, not faded, striped, but this is a City Limits sweater, the worsted weight version that I knit for my son a couple of years ago. I was holding it backwards, forgive me. Just color blocked stripes. I have knit so many color block stripe versions of the sweater.
All slightly different too.
And the same can be done with the City Limits light. I just kind of wanted to throw that out there that, you know, I'm talking fades, I'm talking gradients, but also I've never met a stripe I did not love. So this one, our eldest wore it, our middle son is wearing it now.
Willow's gonna wear it.
One.
Yeah.
I love this one.
You get really emotionally attached to these because like you can associate them with photographs, like special dinners, days, or just seeing them go to school in them and stuff. We have like everything that's floating around. And then when we're done with them, Tan siblings, their kids will wear them too. So when we have like big dinners, we'll see it cut back, and it's the gift that keeps on giving.
It is, you know, it's really nice to see the nieces and nephews wearing them as well. Yeah. And I feel like whenever you and I talk about like the value in what we do, that's what it
is. It's like the longevity and like the emotional attachment to it.
Because it's
which is nice. We've dedicated our careers to it, so it's good that we support it.
Well, but it does make me feel like what we do is valuable.
It's special,
yeah, because it can be easy to feel like we're not saving the world.
We're not.
Or are we?
Or are we?
One sweater at a time? One toddler in a sweater? Every time my brother comes,
that's our reach.
His kids are wearing our hand-me-downs, and it's amazing.
So nice,
But do you know that I do have some that I hold back? Not many.
I know you do.
Not many.
Yeah.
But I have the occasional sweater that as I'm packing up the clothes that are too small to hand over to my brother, where I'm like, I don't have anybody in my family who can wear this. But it was I'm so attached to it that I just have to hoard it.
Tannis also has a real knack for hand-picking odd skeins from the racks, being like, just put this aside, see where it ends up. Well, we know where it's ending up, in her stash.
Oh yeah, then I'll knit it.
Yeah.
Special.
That's part of them. I'm not, no opinion on it. One way or the other.
The most recent one, I haven't kept many at all. I kept some baby ones that were really, really special, like if they came home from the hospital in it and stuff.
Yeah.
Very special to me, and I'll give it to them one day, I suppose. And then I kept Willow's little gartrelle. I knit her that pink, scrappy gartrelle cardigan that she wore for like 4 years. Mm-hmm. She got so much wear out of it, and she loved it so much as well, and that's kind of why I can't part with it. At any rate, but most of our knits do not just get hoarded and kept, people. We pass them on, and I've got 3 little nieces and nephews now. Maybe more one day that get use out of them. It also is a real testament to how well they hold up when you hand wash. Listen, that's all I want to talk about for the fades, the City Limits light pattern, tons of photos of it online that you can check out, get all the details, all that stuff. And then I just wanted to share what I'm currently working on.
Yeah.
Because it's fun. It's a fun one. It is a sweater combining knit and crochet.
When you hold it up, it's got instantly looks like a blanket you would sit with on a sofa, but it's popping with the natural, and it's like, it's very cool.
I'm super excited about it. So they're just crocheted granny squares, and then for a center panel, and then I've got knit stitches framing all around it, picked up and knit. And yeah, I'm knitting it in a bit of an unconventional way. I often do this because I'm too excited to get the collar on. For me, the collar is like, that's what makes it look like a sweater, and that's what makes it look kind of way more finished.
Well, that's where it hangs from too, right?
Yeah, and so when I'm trying it on, it gives me a better idea. Because before you put on a collar, a sweater can be gaping. Like, it can look insane. And then the collar really cinches it all up. And I'm a really big fan of a folded over double collar, a mock neck, would you say? Because it's quite high, thick. Like I like my neck covered.
Sailor style.
And
I have to take this opportunity to commend you for kind of relinquishing control.
Yeah.
And going for a seemingly random.
They are random.
More authentic granny square.
That was the
goal. Because it's very hard for Tannis not to rainbow this out.
I feel as though you say that every single episode, and every single episode, the reason you bring it up is because I did not do that.
Right.
Like, I don't do that anymore.
But on a long enough timeline, if you look, right? Like, this is a new development.
You're wearing a rainbow shirt.
When I'm getting in trouble because it's not black?
I just don't like being pigeonholed as only being able to knit in rainbows.
Right.
However,
I can also wear color. It doesn't have to be a band shirt.
You look like an elf.
A good elf.
You look adorable. But I did intentionally. I think whenever I do crochet, particularly any type of granny square thing, I'm looking for it to be a little bit kitsch. You know, you want it to look like you found these squares, not like you overly planned them. That's the thing.
When we were discussing it, I said, and I think this holds true, if you put any thought into the colors, it is not a granny square. That's not how grannies operate. You grab what's next and you knit with it.
Do you know that just because it's called a granny square does not mean that only grannies knit it, crochet it?
Not true.
Chris doesn't even. Oh boy. But yeah, so I had my daughter, I had my kids like help me pick colors. Basically, I'd be making one and then
They're not grannies.
What color?
They can't help.
How are they permitted in this
project?
Yeah. So some of them, like for example, this one I'm crazy about. It's basically a gradient. You're right, Chris. Okay, busted. I love a gradient. And then others, like when I made this one, I thought it was hideous. But when you put it all together, this one I thought was bad too, but then I really like it. Like you just can't go wrong. 5 colors is enough colors because they're 5 round granny squares that I did. So 5 colors is enough colors to make it really seem random. Yeah. Like if each one were, and I used a bunch of colors. And I did have one rule, and the one rule was I didn't want any of the exterior colors repeated. And I'm pretty sure I did not. I've repeated some of the interior colors, many of them, but not, I think each center is different and each last row is different. I could be wrong because I really wasn't that careful about it.
Don't count live on camera. If you haven't checked this.
If you can't tell, you can't tell. At any rate, so this is what I'm currently working on. I'm very excited about it. And I think it's going to be, I started off saying, I have no idea if it's even going to work, and I don't know if it's going to be complicated to write it out because I've never written a crochet pattern before. I didn't know how things were going to go with this. But it doesn't seem to be presenting any massive obstacles.
What are you going for shape-wise? Like boxier, shorter, a little short?
I don't know how short it's going to be.
Yeah.
2 reasons why. I have to pick up stitches along the bottom still and add like some knitting before I do the ribbing. That's just my vision.
Yeah.
Which is going to already make it not cropped. Like just, I just started going and it's just going to tell me what's going to happen. I think the sleeves, I might do them a little bit slimmer. Boxier body, slim. I'm not sure.
We'll see.
We shall see.
Exciting.
So I'll keep you posted on that one, but I'm whizzing through it. The back is just all knit, so I'm just sort of like mindlessly knitting back and forth without thinking about it too much, just trying to get that through. But what I'm really pumped about is how neatly I wasn't sure about gauge. You know what I mean? Like you do the squares and then you're picking up the stitches if things were going to get really ripply or like if it wasn't going to lay flat, if it wasn't going to go well. But it's going very well so far. So that's that.
Nice.
Do you have anything you want to add today? Do you have any life tidbits you want to add?
I don't. As we were going, I was thinking we're going to have to pretty soon do an episode talking about the show coming up in May, right?
Ooh.
but you have a phone call with some colleagues coming up where some more details will become clear. But we haven't done a show since Vancouver, I think. And,
that's correct. That was 2019.
Yeah, we had intended to do the Montreal.
So Knit City is
Knit
what
City?
Chris is talking about. We did Knit City Vancouver in 2019. We had registered to do Knit City Montreal in 2020.
Circumstances at the time, yeah.
And then things happen, years go by, and now we're doing Knit City Toronto this spring.
Yep.
We will be there in May.
Which is daunting but exciting, and I
am,
guess
like,
we'll have to do an episode
terrified.
to come up with. It'll be helpful for us. We can talk about our booth and what we plan on bringing. Since we have not yet.
We will do that live.
Well, we're both excited about it. I'm really excited for it.
Do you know what I'm excited for? Is that the kids are coming. We're going like as a family. The kids will not be working the entire time, but one of our kids, our eldest, our 10-year-old, he'll be 11 by then.
Good luck keeping Willow out if Rowan's going.
Yeah, well, we'll see. They are really enthusiastic about, and I'm excited for them to see what we do.
Yeah.
To see us like out in the world. They only see us doing what we do in our basement. So I think like that enough is reason to be very excited about it.
Yeah.
And then of course, I also always love seeing like the vision of the brand in a physical space.
Yeah.
Because again, our stuff is often in between rooms, and stuff is, we dye, I throw it onto the shelves for temporary storage and then we ship it. So it's not really like a permanent display. So having everything that we want to bring. Now, again, we're not going to bring everything. We're talking about this in another episode.
Yeah.
But we're not bringing our like everything we've ever done. No. We have to be
But we're also hoping that planning for this show gives us insight in going forward with our direction for the website too. That having
That's right, because it's
like
always
physical, visual presentation of what we want, like our best foot forward, then maybe that'll work its way into like what people see online too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I know. It's exciting to have like a big thing to work towards, rather than just trudging along doing the use. You have to really put some thought into it. So it'll be a real experience, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And okay, fine. Pass me that skein. I'm busted. I saved this one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, this one I
from a few weeks ago
removed from the website, and it is in my personal stash.
She's allowed to. I mean, because then you knit the things that people see, and that's what creates excitement for your patterns and projects.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For permitting me.
You are allowed. Your name is in the company.
Yeah.
So
this is gonna be a sock, I think.
This is gonna be on her desk with 20 others for a long time. Not that long, actually. You're quite prolific.
All right. Thanks for watching.
We both have things to do. I literally have yarn in the garage.
Yeah.
So,
and
see you soon.